the clairvoyance of being press is limited, and so we rely on press releases. As I said last Tuesday, no game company in their right mind is going to be releasing any major releases or any major announcements the week Call of Duty puts its flag down. So there is not that much to talk about. There are a few other releases to talk about, but the main one to talk about is going to be Call of Duty. And one of those first releases I'm going to talk about is the Finnish Game Awards. The Finnish Game Awards were yesterday, and it's a national gaming award event for Finland. So it's just as right to talk about this as the same way we talk about BAFTA. It's the same thing, but in Finland. And as for the awards that were handed out, there was the Applied Game Award for 2016 for the Augmented Climbing Wall by Valo Motion Oi. Finnish Rookie of the Year went to Coppola Games. You might recognise those guys because they're the non-stop guys. Surprisingly, their non-stop Chuck Norris game seems to be doing rather well. Turns out that meme must have not passed quite yet, I suppose. The Sensation of the Year went to the Finnish Museum of Games. Best Creative Achievement of the Year went to Alienation by House Marquee. And there were 3 Game of the Year awards. The first one was the Big Screen Game of the Year, which went to Quantum Break. Then there was the Small Screen Game of the Year, which went to Clash Royale. And then there was the Finnish Game of the Year, which went to Clash Royale. It certainly shows that mobile games are getting very much lauded, mainly because they make a shit ton of money. It's mobile games. There's a reason why mobile development is huge. It's an open platform, largely, when Apple doesn't stick their nose in, or Android, or anything like that. And you can make a bunch of money. There's a reason why mobile game companies like Supercell are huge. And then the next 2 smaller releases are charity releases. Well, they're about charity events anyway. It is basically a comedy night in London on May 8th. It's just a big charity stand-up thing. As they say here, hosted once again by Ignatic Games Aid patron Imam Youssef, the rib-tickling night of comedy celebrates its 5th year with another fantastic lineup, including Alistair Barry, Pippa Evans, Jeff Innocent, Angela Barnes, Fumbani Onyoto, and Dana Alexander. It's going to be at the Comedy Store in London. Tickets are, as they say here, £20. It's all for charity. All for Games Aid. So, yeah, it's a charity comedy event night thing in London on May 8th. And the second charity-related thing is with Jagex. Jagex, if you may or may not know, are the guys who do RuneScape. The RuneScape is supposedly still going. Something I played when I was like 13. As they say here, Jagex, the creators of RuneScape, today announced a partnership with 3 charities to support mental health awareness, with a focus on affecting change for young people as part of a 2-year fundraising program. Jagex will link up with Mine, the Prince's Trust, and the YMCA on a local, national, and international level, and has a target of raising £150,000 in 2017 to support their programs. They go on to say in the release that there is going to be a selection of live events as well as in-game events, and one of the ways they're going to raise money is the way many MMOs do, the way World of Tanks did, where they raised, I think it was £300,000 for charity, and it's just in-game items, customizable sort of stuff, just stuff that doesn't really have much of an effect on the game, but it's just a charity item, so you just microtransaction charity, I suppose. But it also says here, additionally, the company will become one of the first commercial companies to join the likes of the local police service, some local NHS services, and Cambridgeshire County Council to sign a pledge supporting CPSL's Mind's Stop Suicide campaign in Jagex's home city. Working with the YMCA, Jagex will support the organisation's Find, Get, Give initiative. The programme will help young people aged 13 to 25 years old to find and receive support, and then give feedback around the mental health services they have assessed. Jagex will be assisting the YMCA in development of a mental health support networking app. This is actually a big deal, kind of in a local level for the sort of the districts around Cambridgeshire, but it's kind of a big deal as well. It's going to help the YMCA develop an app for the people who need the mental health and the people who need assistance through the YMCA systems, as well as raising charity for Mind. Mind is a very, very good charity. It's one that is, well, it's one that I've always seen as very good. So all of the charities they're helping here, Mind, the Prince's Trust as well, and the YMCA are very, very good charities. And all of this is deserved, and this is kind of a big deal. Mental health is something that needs to be talked about and helped a lot, especially with one of the big problems being around mental health is sort of the introversion and quietness that comes with it. And video games can be a refuge. It has been for me as well. So it can be a bit of a refuge as well. So it's good that these sort of mental health sort of charity events are coming in to video games a lot more, because it's one area where video games can help a lot. And the press release that I bet everyone wants me to talk about, especially because I have made it quite known over the last few years that I am very critical of Call of Duty, and I am not necessarily a fan of Call of Duty. I think one of the articles I did about a year and a bit ago was me going, yeah, just kill the franchise, keep the individual parts, but divide and stuff. I still stand by that. I think the Zombies mode should go off and make its own game by this point, because I like playing it, but the rest of Call of Duty sucks. But there is one big caveat that came with this release, which is right at the very, very end of the release, right at the very bottom, that is essentially part of the small print. And that is, cautionary note regarding forward-looking statements. Information in this press release that involves Activision Publishing's expectation, plans, intentions, or strategies regarding the future, including statements about E3 and the expected release dates, pricing, pre-orders, and additions, features, functionality, and game of Call of Duty World War II, are forward-looking statements that are not facts and involve a number of risks and uncertainties. Basically, all of this, the entire release, subject to change. That's it. This entire release could be fuck all. It's that entire paragraph is just going, this may be subject to change. And it only said three things. One, it's called Call of Duty World War II, which itself is a redundant title and kinda stupid. And so it's set in World War II. It comes out on November 3rd, which, as this statement says, may be subject to change. And it has a zombies mode, which is additional, which may be subject to change. This entire press release was fucking pointless. This entire thing was fucking pointless, because the rest of it is just going, we're going to talk about it much more at E3 whenever we get their hands on it. In 2 months. E3's in 2 months. They can scrap the season past that amount of time. So, the big caveat that comes with this press release and all of the news that is coming out at this point about Call of Duty is subject to possible change. It's fucking meaningless, basically. This press release is just fucking meaningless, because at this point, basically, what Call of Duty, what Activision Call of Duty thing has done is, we'll tell you, it's going, look, it's called Call of Duty World War II, but this is like the 6th game in World War II. It's called World War II, and it has zombies. We'll tell you more at E3. It's like, okay, what was the point? There was no point in this whole thing. It's just hype. This entire thing was hype and was fucking pointless. Absolutely pointless. So, yay, I suppose. So, even so, let's go through this press release and see what's there. They start off with a selection of bullet points saying, multiplayer features boots on the ground combat with all new ways to play and engage. With one small caveat thing to that being, they can't actually change that much because of esports rules require stability and the maintaining of a base set of rules, so they can't change it that much. This is the reason why it was a huge innovation that Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare, they added double jumping. It was a huge innovation then because it was a massive change in the rules. It's having to say multiplayer is going to change. No, it's not. It's still going to be a small arena-based quick action shooter. It's not going to change because esports require stability. It's going to be exactly the fucking same as it's always been, perhaps with new weaponry. The thing is, they can't even have the excuse of having things like double jump and wall running now these days. It's just going to have tanks, probably. That's it. Which just means it's going to be Battlefield. Just fucking hilarious more than anything else. I think that in itself is something that can really be said, is that having it called Call of Duty World War II is kind of copying Battlefield 1, because at least Battlefield hasn't done a game in World War 1 before. There's Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, Big Red 1, which is the game I think they're ripping off for this one, because it follows the American campaign of First Company. Big Red 1! Fucking obviously. But Big Red 1 had two major things to it. It had sections where you followed the British SAS going through the African campaign and the Russians. It's not doing that now, it's just the Americans from D-Day to Berlin, so about 2 years. Of 6 years. Pre-order now and get access to private multiplayer beta, first on PlayStation 4. First on PlayStation 4. Not surprised. It's exactly the fucking same it was last time, so no shock horror there. And pre-order now. Fucking really? It's Call of Duty. They're not going to run out of copies. They're not going to run anything out. It's why pre-order Call of Duty of all fucking things? Why? There's just no. Brand new, unique take on Nazi Zombies cooperative mode brings an original storyline and heart-pounding experience to Call of Duty. Yeah! The same fucking way World at War did! The game that you talked about in your fucking live event, going, it's been 10 years since we did that, and we now have zombies in World War II. It's going, yeah, that's where Call of Duty Zombies started, you twat! This is just the entire event. I was just going, fucking really? You're saying this is innovating? It's not. For one, you've done this before. And two, you're copying Battlefield. Good God. They used to copy you, now you're copying them. The cycle is fucking complete now. Good God. They have a whole big thing about Sledgehammer Games going, we want to return it to its gritty roots, to its nature, and gritty nature. And yeah, it was a realistic shooter. Until it became Halo, with like advanced warfare, and became about robots, and basically became a first-person quick-based Metal Gear. They're going, we're returning to our roots. Going, yeah, you're the one that fucking left it, you idiot. You can't make this big reinvention because, like, sorry, turns out we made a stupid idea and decided to make fucking Gears of War first-person. And so we're going back to what we did 10 years ago, where the fucking series started. And then they have here, right at the very, very back end of the release, right, the last thing they say, Call of Duty World War II pre-orders at participating retailers, including access to the private beta. Fucking why? It's multiplayer. It's not going to fucking change. Available first on PlayStation 4, obviously. Scheduled for later this year. Probably August. It's probably going to be around the same time Gamescom happens. Probably. So sometime in August, September. About a month or so before release. Because that's how it always has been. Call of Duty World War II is available for pre-order in the following editions. Base Edition and Digital Base Edition. Basically, buy game. £60. Digital Deluxe Edition with Season Pass and more. Those two little stars for the Season Pass mean Season Pass purchasers receive 2018 Call of Duty World War II Season Pass content. Season Pass content is not final, is subject to change, and may not include all downloadable content available in the game. So buying the Season Pass means you may not get all of the DLC or all of the stuff, because you gotta pay microtransactions somehow. And then you have the Pro Edition, which is the not-so Season Pass collectible Steelbook, collectible shit, and more. With more being fuck knows. Basically, my entire thoughts on this entire press release and this entire Call of Duty thing of the last few days is because it's all fucking stupid. They said nothing. Are planning to say nothing, and then even the stuff they did say was caveated with subject to change. For fuck's sake, what was the point? There was no point in the entire thing. They could have just waited until E3. It's not that fucking far away. Good God, the thing doesn't come out till November. It's like 6-10 months away. But we have to start the hype train early, even if we end up lying. And so, to end, if you enjoyed this episode, please do consider subscribing, and please do consider sharing the video around. It always helps. Please do share it around if you enjoyed it, and if you really did enjoy it, subscribe. And I will see you on Tuesday for hopefully not ranting about Call of Duty.